everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I will be recommending romances that follow families. It's been a really long time since I've done a romance recommendation video, and I slowly want to get back into them. I do have another one planned for Saturday or maybe like next week, but my goal is to do one a month. Again, I just never feel like I have enough recommendations to constantly do recommendation videos, but I am going to try to do them more often again. I will leave a link to a playlist down below that has all of my romance recommendation videos that I've ever done. If there is a trope or a romance subgenre that you want me to do a recommendation video on, please leave it down below. For today's romance recommendation, I am going to recommend some books that follow families. This is one of my favorite things in romances, where we follow an entire family in a series. I just love watching each sibling fall in love and get their own happy ending. I feel like there's definitely some that I'm missing, but I do have a good amount to recommend today, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. The first series I'm recommending is the Eden series by Devney Perry. I currently only own the first and second book in the series, so the first book is Indigo Ridge and the second book is Juniper Hill. This actually follows brothers and sisters of this one family. This is also a small town romance series. There's also a little bit of like a mystery suspense aspect. The Edens are part of the founding family of this town, so they have a lot of history with the town. The first book is like Enemies to Lovers, Hate to Love. The second book is like Single Mom, Grumpy Sunshine. The third book, Garnet Flats, is a sports doctor second chance romance. Book 4, Jasper Vale, is a fake relationship romance. So far I've only read the first 3 books and I have really enjoyed this series. I love Devney Perry. I love following each sibling and I love how different they are, and I love how different all of their romances are. Such a wonderful series, and I feel like if you have no idea where to start when it comes to Devney Perry, I feel like this is a great series to start with. The next series that follows a family is the Winston Brothers series by Penny Reid. I really love this series. It's very weird. It's a little different. I feel like Penny Reid writes very unique and weird books, but in the best way. Each brother in this series is so different and unique. Cletus is my favorite. His book is Beard Science. I absolutely love him and Jennifer. This also takes place in a small town. The first book is Hate to Love. Book 2, Grin and Beard It, is a friends to lovers romance. And Beard Science, which is the third book, which is also friends to lovers and slow burn. Book 4, Beard and Mind, is enemies to lovers, and it also tackles OCD. Book 5, Dr. Strange Beard, is friends to lovers. Book 6, Beard with Me, is friends to lovers, and Beard Necessities is second chance. These actually have to be read together. Beard with Me is the prequel to this book, so they follow the same characters, the same brother. These are the only 2 that do have to be read together. The rest are kind of companion books. But I love this series. It's very fun, yet also kind of emotional and deep. I just really love these characters, and I really need to reread the series. The next series that follows a family is The Bailey Brothers by Claire Kingsley. This is also a small town romance. I'm noticing that most of these are all kind of small town romances. I feel like that's a theme with books about siblings, is they all take place in like one town. The first book, Protecting You, is a friends to lovers romance. The second book, Fighting for Us, is a second chance romance. Book 1 and book 2 are books that you need to read together. They follow the same couple. Book 3, Unraveling Him, is my favorite book in the series. This is Grumpy Sunshine. I absolutely love this book. It was one of my favorite books of 2022. I feel like this is one of the best Grumpy Sunshine romances I have ever read. I just truly loved it. It's my favorite. Book 4 is Rushing In. This is a friends to lovers / forbidden romance. And then the last 2 books I have not read, but I do plan on eventually reading them. So book 5 is Chasing Her Fire, which is enemies to lovers. And then the last book, Rewriting the Stars, is a single parent / friends to lovers / forbidden romance. Most of the books in this series have multiple tropes, but I just was mentioning kind of like the bigger tropes. I love this whole family, and I love the a grandmother. She basically raised all the boys. I just really enjoyed the series, and I obviously totally recommend it. Then we have the Reed Brothers series by Temi Faulkner. This series has 11 books. It's a very, very long series. I'm not going to go through all of them. The first 6 books follow the brothers, and the rest of the series follows friends of the family. So it follows other characters, but we still get to see all of the family in the other books. It's just not about the initial brothers. I know this series does have really bad covers. It's quite an old series, but I genuinely love these books. I think I've read the first 2 books like maybe 2 or 3 times, and same with like the third book, I think. They're also really short, so I feel like this is an easy series to binge. The first book is Tall, Tatted, and Tempting. This is a friends to lovers romance. Smart, sexy, and secretive. This is a second chance romance. These first 2 books actually follow the same couple. So the first book is the beginning of their story, and then the second book is a continuation. The third book is Calmly, Carefully, Completely, which is friends to lovers / forbidden. Then we have Maybe Matt's Miracle, which is book 4. This is another friends to lovers / single mom. Book 5 is Proving Paul's Promise, which is hate to love / friends to lovers. And then the 6th book is Zip Zero Zilch. This is a friends to lovers / music and like sports romance. This series actually doesn't take place in a small town. It takes place in New York. And initially the brothers own a tattoo parlor. So they all do tattoos and everything, which is very fun. And this series is emotional and sweet and heartfelt. I just really, really love the Reed Brothers. Then we have the Cloverleaf Farm series by Melanie Harlow. This is a series that actually follows sisters, which is really fun. I really, really love this series. It is one of my favorite series. I absolutely love what Melanie Harlow did with these characters and these couples. This is also a series that has multiple tropes. Like each book has at least 3 to 4 different tropes, which is really fun. And I feel like Melanie Harlow does such a great job of putting all of the tropes together and not making it feel like too much is going on. It feels very perfect with the mixture that she has in each book. So technically there are 9 books in this series, but the first 5 books follow the sisters, and then the rest of the books in the series follow a second generation. The last 4 books in the series I'm not super in love with. They've been kind of hit or miss for me, but the first 5 books I love, and they were all hits for me. So the first book, Irresistible, is a single dad and nanny romance. It also has an age gap. Book 2, Undeniable, is a second chance romance. It has multiple tropes, but this is probably my favorite in the series. I absolutely love this book. I almost give it 5 stars. I just loved it. Insatiable is book 3. This is friends to lovers. Unbreakable is also friends to lovers, but single mom. And book 5, Unforgettable, is second chance romance. This is such a great series. It is emotional and fun and funny, but also very sweet and heartfelt, and I just totally recommend it. I have 2 more series to recommend. The next one is the Gibson Boys series by Adriana Locke. This is the 3rd book in the series. It is my absolute favorite. I did end up giving it 5 out of 5 stars. It was just perfect. I loved everything about this. This series also takes place in a small town. I don't believe all of the Gibson boys are brothers. I think there's like some cousins in there as well. But I feel like it's about a family and also a found family, which, you know, at the end of the day, family doesn't necessarily mean blood related. But the first book, Crank, is Hate to Love. The second book, Craft, is also Hate to Love. Then we have the 3rd book, Crave, which is friends to lovers and second chance romance. And then book 4 is Crazy, which is friends to lovers. And like most of these other series, this is also a companion series, so you don't need to read them in order. If anything, I highly recommend this 3rd book. It is my favorite, like I said, and I feel like more people should read this series and read this book. And then the last series that I'm recommending is a little bit different. It's new adult. It's kind of a little bit younger. It's like a high school, college-ish. It's the Preston Brothers series by Jay McLean. I first read this book when it came out years ago, and I reread this last year, I think, or was it the year before? No, it was last year. I reread the first book and I continued the other two, and I just really, really enjoyed this series. It's kind of, I wouldn't say dark, but it does cover some more serious, heavy topics like addiction and abuse. I believe there's also self-harm at one point in, I think, the third book. These books are definitely an emotional roller coaster, but I love the Preston family. They are just so wonderful. There is a book about their older sister, which is called More Than Forever. That is one of my favorite books of all time. I absolutely love that book. But this just follows the brothers. And so far there are only 3 books out. There are 2 other brothers, and I hope that Jay McLean eventually releases books on those 2, but so far there's only 3 out. The first book is Lucas. This is a friends to lovers romance. Book 2 is Logan. This is Hate to Love. And then the third book is Leo, which is a friends to lovers / second chance romance. I also absolutely love these covers. These are the illustrated covers. They are so pretty. Unfortunately, for some reason, my copy of Logan is shorter than the other 2 when I ordered them all at the same time, all from Amazon. So I don't know what that's about, but that is a little frustrating. I will say the books are definitely deeper than the covers. They're very emotional. So those were all the romance series that I had to recommend that follow families. Let me know if you have read any of these series and what you think about them, or if you have any other recommendations, please leave them down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.